Okay, so this is my fourth voice lesson, and I thought I would do it on two concepts. One concept is not putting too much pressure on your voice, and the other concept I thought I would do it on is voice modification. Okay, so let me talk about voice modification a little bit. We all have to come into an acceptance with our voice at some time. A lot of the time what happens is we learn singing and we appreciate singing from certain singers, whether it's pop or musical theater or anything else, and we try to emulate them. We try to sound like them, okay? I know as when I was younger, when I first started singing when I was a sophomore in high school, um, I wanted to be a bass. Singing high was very difficult for me, and I couldn't accept that I was a tenor. And so I would do certain actions to try to modify my voice to make it sound like I was deeper. I'll try to give you an example of that a little bit later. Okay? But even if that's not the case, a lot of people do it for stylization and stuff like that. If they try to sound jazzy, you could sound jazzy without changing your voice, but by doing some certain embellishments that doesn't change your voice. You don't have to place the voice in a different spot. I'll try to also give an example of of that also later. Okay. But I'm going to do it a little bit differently today. Let me talk about voice pressure a little bit. A lot of times when we get high, which I'm not going to give an example in this video, I'll probably do it in one of my next videos though, people can put too much pressure or reach their voice up, okay? But that's not what I want to approach in this one. Overall, we just don't want to put too much pressure. First of all, the pressure from our singing comes from our stomach, okay? We breathe in from our stomach, and all pressure comes there. You should feel relaxed in your throat, okay? It shouldn't feel like you're straining with it at all, okay? We don't want to add pressure. And the same thing when we sing low. It's not just about high. A lot of the time, especially for higher singers, they want to have volume in their low range, and they can't because they're a soprano, they're a tenor. You can't be so loud, so you need to learn to accept it. This time, instead of talking to you about stuff and then singing, I'm going to sing a little bit and then talk to you about it, okay? I'm going to try to sing with that properly the first time through this. I just learned this song just yesterday, so I'm going to kind of read the words as I sing through it. Really beautiful song. I think it's spectacular. It's called Try to Remember from the Fantasticks. But I chose it specifically because it's too low for me, okay? I should be singing a higher song, or I could change it myself. I know how to change it. I have the stuff to do it. But I think singing it low is going to give you a good example of what I'm trying to talk about not modifying our voice, okay? So, let me get this set up. One moment. Okay. There's a part where they go follow, 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 follow that I don't get that I'm not going to do right now. So, but if you know the song, please forgive me. Try to remember the kind of September when life was slow and oh so mellow. Try to remember the kind of September when grass was green and grain was yellow. Try to remember the kind of September when you were a render and callow fellow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow. Try to remember when life was so tender that no one wept except the willow. Try to remember when life was so tender that dreams were kept beside your pillow. Try to remember when life was so tender that love was an ember about to billow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow. kind of little intermission here. Deep in December, it's nice to remember, although you know the snow will follow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember, without a hurt, the heart is hollow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember the fire of September that made us mellow. Deep in December, our hearts should remember and follow. Good. Okay, so now, if you notice, I really try to keep it gentle. I didn't push, okay? And even when I was going up to the higher notes, I wasn't like, all right, I can sing loud now because it's kind of in my range. No, I try to, oh, it's a little bit louder part, but I don't want to start belting out because all of a sudden I feel confident, okay? So you need to keep it even somewhat gentle when you go into the higher notes, okay? On the low notes, don't try to be a bass. I could go, let me find the word real fast. I could go, try to remember the kind of September when life was low and oh so mellow. Now, it sounds like it has a deeper quality to me, and when I'm singing low, that seems like, hey, that's the good idea to do. It's not. You're a tenor, you're a soprano, you need to do that. Now, for basses and altos, okay, a lot of the time on the low notes, you feel like, all right, I can hit it big. And a lot of people, I listened to even a recording of this, of the 2006 off-Broadway recording of this, and the guy's like, all right, I hit a low note so he can hit it so confidently. And I don't like that. You need to have consistency and some unification in your voice. Your voices should sound similar up and down, okay, all the way through, okay? The pressure at the same time, you don't want the pressure. It's very, very important to do that. And the voice modification, don't change your voice, don't modify it. You have a great voice, okay? Now the stylization, if I was to sing all that jazz, ya-da-da-ya-ha-ha-ha, and all that jazz, I don't need to go, change the voice of where it's at, and all that jazz. No, or anything like that. Even just try to make it rounder. Don't put your voice further back to make it rounder. No, keep it your voice, and then you could just add the embellishments. Something needs to put your stockings down, and all that jazz. It's still my voice right here. We don't need to change it just to have some soul. Okay? Now sometimes, yeah, it's going to make it sound like you have less soul, but the thing is it's going to sound like you have a much better voice, much better training, and it's not going to sound artificial, okay? Don't change your voice. You need to listen to yourself, record yourself, get used to what your voice sounds like, and accept it, okay? Your voice is great as it is. You don't need to copy other people, okay? You could take ideas about style and how they do things, and but don't take their voice. You have your own voice. It's beautiful, and well, hopefully, not everyone, I guess, but assuming I'm giving you lessons, we'll say it's beautiful, okay? And the thing is, though, is you need to accept your voice, okay? You're not a bass if you're a tenor or soprano, and you need to accept that. When you sing a low note, don't try to hit it really low. Just say I'm a tenor and hit it low, or a soprano. You don't need to hit it low, okay? Accept what you are, okay? And usually, it took me a while to accept I was a tenor, and now I really like being a tenor. I think it's kind of neat. Yeah, sometimes I'd love to belt out those, super low C's or something, but, for the most part, that's not me, and that's okay. I can accept that. So, I hope this was a good lesson. But this one hopefully is pretty short. I kept it under 10 minutes, I suppose. Okay, and that's about it.